But I want to take you to Sweetie Abochu, my colleague, one of the Ablekuma constituencies, is joining us, and we're getting a sense of some disturbance there. We'll join in pretty shortly, but I still have with me Winston, obviously, and Collins in short, but Sweetie Abochu is joining us. And Sweetie, what's the situation there? I can see in your shot there is some commotion. What's happening? What am I looking at?
So we are the collection center, President Olivet School in the Ablekuma West constituency, and the military personnel are saying that only CEOs, media men, and people who have accreditation should enter. But there are some individuals out there who are saying that they know that ESCO who are close the elections, and they want to come in at all costs and be sure that the results don't change. So it's a clash that we've been at it for about 15 minutes now. They've attempted to pull down the gate, but I think there are more security persons who come for reinforcement. So what you see right now is how they are maybe holding on to the gate so that those outside cannot come in. They are very vigilant, checking that you only have accreditation before you come in. And there are some people out there who just want to come in at all costs. They don't have any accreditation, and security personnel are doing the best they can to resolve the issue. We've had issues where ballot boxes have been have bust because like you can see, this just keeps happening. So there are instances where you have to throw the ballot box from outside to get in because very bent on not allowing anybody in who does not have accreditation. And so what you're seeing right now is the construction of the ballot boxes and other materials from the EC into the collation center, which is Mount Olivet School here in Mansuman. That's what we have here, Evan. That's a particular no, but I think they're very focused right now on, whatever is going on right now, and they don't want to talk to us. But I'll keep you updated. This is what we have. So I have to see the well, I hope they're not able to benefit because it's not why you are here. So, I'm not what I'm seeing.
Okay. Pardon me. And what you see there, obviously, is a tense moment between those with accreditation, those without. And this is, if you've covered elections before and you've been on the ground, you understand what is happening. Once you get into the Constitutional Coalition Center, you are checked and double-checked. You must have the accreditation to go in. And sometimes this happens because the security guys want to be absolutely sure that, and the EC had said that this time, what they try to do, every Constitutional Coalition Center will be in an enclosed area. So you must necessarily pass through a certain gate to enter the inner perimeter. And you saw there's a gate there that, so you have a lot of people on the other side of the gate. And if you open it and you're not careful, people will rush in, and that then becomes an issue. So you can see that even when they were bringing the ballot boxes in, they were trying to pass it over the fence into the area, right? Just to manage the situation and manage the security there.
Yeah, but that's the problem. If you don't have accreditation, you don't show up at the Constituency Coalition Center. Your party agents would show up there. And at this point in time, Evans, I do not think that anybody, look, the political parties have learned their lessons, okay? And I do not think that anybody can actually, change the will of the people. I am not sure that can be done.
Especially with the experience of Techiman South.
Yes.
The death happened at the coalition center.
I agree that, you see, you must be vigilant. But what they're actually doing, if they have to throw ballot boxes, assuming any of the agents is called for a recount in the polling station and called for a second recount, when you call for a recount again for the second time, it is done at the Constituency Coalition Center. You can't have a recount twice at the polling station. Just let your agents do the job.
That's what they're there for.
Once your agents are vigilant, nobody can change this.
And Sweetie is back on phone with us as we watch this unfold, where she is with us. And Sweetie, give us a bit of context. This, I presume, is still the Constituency Coalition Center where this is happening, in the backyard of the Eslawusu. And the situation is with clearing accreditation for access to this area, correct?
Yes. So if you don't have accreditation, if you're a media person and you don't have the accreditation from the Electoral Commission, you will not be let in. Even if you're a polling agent and you don't have the credentials to show, you will not be let in. And the security personnel are just trying to enforce this. But there are some people who gathered outside and were screaming about 20 minutes ago when we were actually trying to get in that they know that SLAS has lost the election, and so they want to be sure that whatever we put out from here at the collation center is no different from that. And the security personnel were explaining to them that, well, you have your party agents here, you have media personnel here who will, show the world what's really happening. But they insist that they want to come in, and that's what started the whole thing outside. They've tried to force down the gate, but somehow we had more security personnel appear from nowhere. I think it was reinforcement, and so they're still at it, really. They're trying to push down the gate and come in at all costs. Nobody's hurt yet, but we've had 2 ballot boxes that just got burst because they threw them from outside the gate into the premises of the collation center. So there are some people who are actually stuck outside holding ballot boxes and materials from the Electoral Commission who are unable to get in because of that standoff of a sort that we are seeing at the entrance there right now. Evan.
You say that the ballot boxes were thrown from outside into the collation center and some of them are broken?
That's what happened. 2 ballot boxes. I'm trying to find the one that got burst, and I'll send the photos in as soon as possible. But because they wanted to bring in the ballot boxes at all costs, and then we had that standoff at the entrance there, I think the PO's thinking was to save the ballot box at all costs. And right now, I think they're actually going to break through. Evan, let me get you a video of what's happening right now. I think they're actually going to break down the gate. It's getting very chaotic here. Okay,
now we're going to get a visual for you pretty short. We're going to stay on this for a while. And this is worrying that it is the suspicion that their ballot is going to be stolen, which is sort of influencing and inspiring this outcome, that they are possibly going to break down that gate into the Constitutional Collation Center just so they do what? I mean, and this is exactly what the EC had been explaining, that calm is what you need. But something I'm happy about, the rapid response of the reinforcement. They came in very quickly and they controlled the area. But it's obvious that they need more hands there.
Yes, they would need more hands. But what we are saying is that at this point in time, if you have a feeling, if you have a sense that your candidate has won, fine. I'm not sure that, I mean, at the coalition center, you have agents there. Okay, you have agents, your party has agents there. And so let the agents do their job. But, let the agents do their job. And for me, that's it. I wouldn't encourage anybody to go there forcefully breaking into the collation center. What you will do is that you will delay the collation of the results, and the confirmation of the victory that you need is also delayed.
Yeah.
If at this point in time, look, let the parties hold the pink sheets. If they have all the pink sheets, nobody can change that. If the pink sheets have been, you have screenshots of your pink sheet sent to the party's coalition center, bingo, you're gone. I mean, nobody's going to change that, because then you would know and you have evidence to show that this is it.
Okay, and we're still waiting for the visuals from Sweetie, because clearly there's a tense situation happening there. We want to keep an eye on that. Don't go anywhere, because Sweetie is going to join us with those live visuals. The last time we're speaking to, this is a developing story there in Ablekuma West, and that we need to keep a close eye on. The situation there tends to be very tense, even in previous elections. And we're hearing now live that the residents have masked up. The time we're speaking, Sweetie had to go off because we are attempting now to forcibly break through the gate. And the security officers had tried to lock it, to the point where they had thrown some staff ballot boxes. When I say staff ballot boxes, it's not the right term to use. Ballot boxes that had been closed, properly so, and sealed from the polling stations en route to the Constitutional Collation Center. And that, had now been thrown. Why? Because the people didn't allow them. And this is what we're seeing there. It's in your shot now. You see the security officers now attempting to prevent the mass of people in the Ablekuma West constituency. Look at that. You now have missiles being thrown from outside the gate. Just look at how the officers are struggling, including what I believe to be military officers.
Yes, yes, you have military officers who
are also there trying to close this gate and prevent the huge crowd from breaking into the Constitution Collation Center. And EC officers, I believe what is being thrown in now are possibly the tables that they require. Yes. Yeah, because they still need to set up the Constituency Collation Center. But because you have all these individuals, a crowd of irate individuals who are there and not allowing them to come in through the route, they are now having to throw the tables into the Constituency Collation Center. That then will be set up before the sorting is done. Now, this becomes pretty tense. My key question is, are the agents already in the Constituency Collation Center?
Exactly. That's the question.
Because what is happening is preventing duly accredited individuals from going through.
Yeah.
Right? And that then prevents, you see, but that is the impact of what this has now. They believe they are trying to protect the ballot. But in the end, they may actually prevent the duly accredited individual from going in to police the thing on their behalf.
Where I can understand, for instance, where people suspect, because in the past, some people may have had concerns about the electoral process. And we've sat here, we've had conversations about what may have happened in some constituencies in 2020, for instance. So you can understand why people would want to know and would want to ensure that the process is free and fair. But this is it for me. You don't ensure that through violence.
No, you don't.
So allow your agents to do the work. We're here, we have our cameras there, and there are other observers there. At this point in time, whatever the will of the people is, shall prevail. Nobody's going to change the will of the people in this election. I am sorry, nobody can change the will of the people. And already I'm sure people may have a fair idea as to how the election is going and how the election may go. So that is not going to change.
Yeah, and that it's a tense situation in Ablekuma West, tense indeed, because of what we're seeing, the live pictures coming through from there, where we've seen that the community members have gathered in their numbers and they are forcing their way into the Constitutional Collation Center for whatever reason. We don't know, but it's obvious that they want to protect.
Now, they say, according to what Sweetie is reporting, they say that they've heard that Communications Minister Eslo Uso-Kufu has lost their seat and they're trying.
But it's too early. I mean, how do you even determine
You can actually see it at this point in time. If she's lost, I mean, you can have a sense because, the Electoral Commission is telling us about 95% are done. And if 95% are done, what it actually means is that the political parties may have the, polling station results, which they can collate or tabulate, and will give you a fair idea as to who's winning in which constituency and who's not winning in which constituency. What we have said is to wait for the Electoral Commission. And it is the process that is currently stalling because people are trying to break into the Constituency Coalition Center.
In Ablekuma West. And by the way, another aspect of this that tend to incite is the party elements who on social media begin to say, something is happening, let's get there and let's make sure we protect the ballot. And meanwhile, they know they have agents who have been duly accredited and trained to do that on their behalf. But they then put this out there into the public domain so that they get everybody else there for what purpose? When the ballot had not been collated, had not been announced, and you have agents who you trust, you've trained and equipped to do that for you. You're not even there to do that, but you see then all these party elements and surrogates on social media inciting and pushing individuals there to go and do this. And this is really what then tends to degenerate and leads to sometimes injuries and unfortunately some circumstances, fatalities.
Exactly. I mean, if you see, you can actually stay behind. Let your party agents do the job. But anyway, I'd love to hear Professor Kwesi's take on what's currently happening at the Ablekuma.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. I mean, the pictures aren't great, but it's getting tense and worse by the minute. And I know the police, they're watching this. They will definitely need to send reinforcement immediately. The first thing that must happen, obviously, is to clear the frontage of this area here, the frontage of the collation center. Because once you clear it, this pressure goes away immediately. You need extra hands there immediately. And I'll be going to Professor Enin, who is with us right now. He has been studying the dynamics here. He will have a sense of what needs to happen right now before this escalates even further. There is an urgent need to de-escalate immediately, but the officers there need more help. They need help immediately.
Yeah.
If you clear that frontage, because even the ballot boxes aren't coming through. I mean, they haven't even set up. They're having to throw tables over the wall into the collation center. Just so, and you can see, they still have election. Look, there's a ballot box there that is coming in that they will have to now throw over the fence now because the guys are just not allowing them. The crowd, and there are a few of them, which you can see that, right?
I can see that,
You can
yeah.
see several of the boxes being carried, and it needs to get through the gate. But each time they open the gate, the crowd wants to charge in, right? And so they can't do it. Sweetie had already reported that 2 ballot boxes were thrown over the fence and got broken.
Yeah.
That compromises the materials.
What the people should do is actually to make sure that the process itself is not compromised, and let them trust their agents to do the job for them. And I'm sure they may have some senior members of their political party who may have accreditation. They can also go there and observe the process to ensure that nothing untoward happens. For now, since they are not accredited, they can trust their party agents, or if you have doubts with the party agents that are in there, get senior members of your party who actually have accreditation. Let them get in and supervise the process. Yeah. That's the only way you want to do that.
There's a security officer that I see trying to de-escalate, trying to get the people to calm down.
Yeah.
You know, I want to go to Benjamin, and he is with Professor Ini. I'm curious to hear Professor Ini's take on how to get this under control very quickly before it escalates further. Benjamin.
Evans, a very concerning situation there in Ablekuma West. And of course, I'm going to relay that question to Professor Enning as well. How do you think we can de-escalate those scenes that you're seeing live on TV in Ablekuma West? For which reason now even the sanctity of the ballot boxes, 2 of them have been thrown and they got broken. You know what that means?
Well, that's not acceptable. The party senior officials must act very quickly. But this is where we want the rapid response teams from the police service and the army to act, because the
and you just said and the army.
Yes, and the army.
This situation.
This is a
requires
situation.
The army.
This situation requires the army. The police need the backup to be able to bring control very quickly, and the quicker they do it, the better, because then it sends a signal to other places that it will not be tolerated, that the security forces are ready to act at a moment's notice.
Yeah, Clara, I don't know what your thoughts are on these developments. Yeah. We've not seen anything like this in the course of today.
Yes, it's worrying because we've had largely peaceful elections, so we expect that the various political parties and the contestants will, I'm sure they have their agents, so they should have a way to allow their agents in, and the people, the securities, and then the security, the police, they have to make sure that the people understand that they are not allowed into the coalition center. So yes, something has to be done about that, whilst protecting the rights of people as well.
And then very quickly, because this afternoon there were quite some bellicose statements made by people around the same constituency. And I think it's a constituency that has a track record of having some violent incidents every time there's an election. So this must not be allowed to continue, and it must be resolved very quickly.
Tempers must not flare, cool heads must prevail, and the security officials must get in. And the people must allow the Electoral Commission officials and the security officials to do their work.
Well,
because it appears in wanting to know the outcome, people are too zealous, overzealous.
Overzealousness does not help. And therein lies people trying to either control the situation, intimidate the officials. And I think when situations are tense, and Ablekuma is a hot spot and a tense spot, but there have been some incidents throughout the day, so it's important that the authorities bring this under control as quickly as possible. But for me, it serves as a deterrent to other people also. Because, in these tense situations, immediately one situation gets out of hand, then it sends a signal, or people misconstrue it to mean that they can also act in a similar manner. That is something that we cannot accept and we should not accept.